All right, we're back. We're gonna get some more into the kill drill segment, but right now, something was brought to my awareness that's been going on for a while. It's called the Cop City situation in Atlanta. The people are protesting. Tell me what's going on with that, Dave.
Well, I guess it looks like it's a consortium of police departments because it looks like it's bigger than just one. Although I'm sure Atlanta has a sizable top facilities, but yeah, they want to cut down 90 acres of an old growth forest to build a police training facility. And there have been protests, and one protester was shot 14 times.
Right, that's the story. I'm saying that. That is so crazy. I also saw that a lot of people were getting locked up under the charge of domestic terrorism behind that. Domestic
terrorism. Well,
right.
That's interesting, right?
Right. Cops should be arresting themselves for that. Some of them, anyway.
Yeah.
Really?
Make a citizen's arrest.
So they want to cut down some old growth forest.
Yeah.
To make a training facility, 90 acres. You need that many acres to train. What are you training? A guerrilla unit?
Yeah, exactly. This is a continued militarization of the police. You know, the federal government has a program to sell surplus military equipment to police departments at a discount.
Paramilitary. It kind of make you wonder, a lot of people got that theory that, some big civil war and all that's probably in the works. And I kind of see some things that point in that direction. I'm not going to get too much deep into that right now, but you were telling me some things like that, like, you make a lot of sense. And I pick it up on stuff like that. But yeah, 90 acres of old growth forest, that's like, it's really crazy. And they sell the surplus equipment to police departments.
Yeah, well, you saw the photos of like the riots at Ferguson, and they had like these armored troop carriers, with 50 caliber machine guns on them.
Civilians against civilians?
Against civilians. Yeah, it's like they act like they're in Iraq.
Right.
They're riding herd on a hostile population. It's about the same thing.
Right. So I got this thing like, that military industrial complex has got a lot of when the reckoning table comes, they got a lot of things to be, they got a lot of reckoning to be accounted for.
Well, unfortunately, the reckoning may come in the form of a nuclear war, in which case we're all going to be paying the price.
I got a theory. I'm not even going to get into it, but I don't think it's going to get what they call that, what's that thing? Everybody dies is some term.
Mutual assured destruction.
Yeah, MAD, mutual assured destruction. I don't believe that's going to happen. I heard that Russia's got some tactical nukes that they can drop it and it only affects maybe 10 or 15 square miles or something like that. You hip to that? You heard something like that?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what the range of a tactical nuclear weapon is. I guess it depends on how small you can make it.
Right.
Because there's a limit on that. But the fact of the matter is that once you start going nuclear, it's like anything else. It's hard to stop escalating. I mean, scummy little Britain, they announced they were sending depleted uranium munitions with the tanks to shoot them to Ukraine. Well, you do that, you're starting to litter. You start to litter both Ukraine and Russia and surrounding countries with radioactivity.
Right. So you were telling me about that too. So let the people know about this. That people need to we're giving you some news you can use. Let the people know about the uranium and how they reuse the waste for more destruction.
Yeah, that's the depleted uranium.
How does it become depleted?
Well, it's through uranium enrichment.
One more thing I want to say. Jake's a chemical degree in chemistry, so he knows what he's talking about. This is a source. He's got a degree from MIT in chemistry.
Yeah, well, there are two principal isotopes in uranium ore. The lighter one is U-235, and the heavier one is U-238. And you try to purify the U-235 away from the U-238, and you can use the purified U-235 as either nuclear fuel in a reactor or refine it further so you could make a nuclear bomb out of it. The depleted uranium, U-238.
That means the leftover, the slag.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They had no purpose for it, and they had tons of it.
Tons of it. Don't they got a storage place in the desert somewhere where they bury all that stuff?
That was one of the ideas. They still haven't sold off on it. They're somewhere in Nevada.
Right.
But no, that's a real problem. And they shut down a middle school in Piketon, Ohio, southern Ohio, which is next to a
nuclear power plant.
An enrichment facility, and it was starting to leak radioactivity.
Yeah.
So they shut the school down.
I remember hearing about that. They had a big one years ago. A girl wrote a book about it out in Colorado, a big thing. But it's so crazy. These people want these jobs, and they don't even realize what's going on. Okay, let's get back. So once they get the slag, what do they do with the slag again? How do they make it more? They recycle the death out of it.
Well, they use it to make projectiles for armor-piercing munitions.
Wow.
Because it's heavier, it's denser than lead. The problem is when it hits armor, it vaporizes, and then you get radioactive dust going all over the place.
Right. Okay. So now they got a destructive bomb. They're making all of this stuff to kill people, and then they take the waste of it to do more stuff to kill people. Yeah. The military-industrial complex traffics in death.
Oh yeah.
In death. So I was watching this show the other day, and they're selling people on this all of these, why we need all this protection and all that, and then you say $400 billion here, $100 billion there, whatever, million, whatever. And then who is getting this money? Who owns stock in these corporations? Because I'm like, my goodness, it's just metal and stuff like that. It really could actually cost, it's ridiculous. And it's hundreds of billions of dollars for death. We need to track those sources and maybe get them to, maybe we might be asking too much to do that, right? I can't dodge no bullets. But, I think those are the culprits, man.
Huh?
I think those are the culprits.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. And, the fact of the matter, well, you see what the military-industrial complex, what they've done is they split up their manufacturing so that there's some in virtually every state of the union.
So the people are behind it because we got jobs.
Yeah, right. Even Bernie Sanders.
We're getting political on the show, Dave. We ain't getting political now.
He was saying stuff like, I want those F-35 jobs and stay in Vermont.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got a great acronym that I got from you. Well, what DC means, the District of Corruption. We vote for these people. Well, we can't know if they got our best interests at heart. But then again, do people really think about it? So here's some mom working in a gun factory, making these guns. Say, well, I got to feed my kids. And then how do you know, mom, if that same gun you just made ain't going to be the one to kill your kid? And I understand guns are here. I get it. They're here. They ain't going to ever go nowhere. But I don't think we need more. That's my whole thing. I think there's enough guns in the world right now that we don't need more.
Well, the problem with capitalism is that it's the same growth model as cancer. It basically grows until it's so big it destroys itself. That's why you see the United States going all around the world looking for enemies so it can keep on feeding the military-industrial complex.
Yeah. So, the whole thing, people just got to understand, this country, I'm American. I'm born here, whatever. I'm an American. Can't take nothing but away from that. You know what I mean? And just because I'm American, that don't mean I got to agree with everything that America does. Like, some shit is just wrong, and people need to wake up and understand that shit. And I shouldn't be cursing. We're going to have to edit that part. So let's start again. People need to understand that just because you're an American, you don't have to be down with everything America does and think it's okay because some guy on TV with a suit on says he's your senator or your president or whatever says, all right, you got to do some critical thinking here. Things have to make some type of sense. For for people say America, we great, we're great, we're great. You hear that all the time. America, we this and that. Okay, what America are you talking about? Because I'm not profiting out of none of that stuff that they got everybody so afraid of. And most people in America aren't profiting from it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, through the overemphasis on sports, we now have a victory culture.
Like the Romans,
yeah. I mean, it's like if you have a win, it's okay.
Right.
People vote for the person they think is going to win.
Wow.
So that's
that's deep. That's deep to look at it that way. That's a very good way to look at it. Yeah. So you're in the mindset that you have to win. As long as there's a victory, it doesn't matter what happens to the other guy
or what it was all about in the first place.
What it was all about in the first place. Yeah. And at the end of the day, when you come back home, how are you going to feel about it? Like that one, the one guy come from Afghanistan, the military guy. Tell us about that guy. What did you say?
He was screaming for accountability.
Yeah.
After 20 years of illegally occupying Afghanistan, and then suddenly saying, "Okay, we're done," and just dropping everything and leaving without protecting the civilians that worked with you, without evacuating your equipment.
Mm-hmm. And what was it all about in the first place? Yeah, and I get it. This guy's, he risked his life. He sees his buddies die. He probably broke bread with these guys trillions of times and know their families and everything, and they're dying, and then they just say, pack up and leave. That's and then people want to wonder, America needs to know, people need to know why did it happen. And the truth is, it happens so that a few people can profit off of other people's misery and death. And
the other tie-in, of course, the impetus for America's Middle East presence was Israel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always looked at Israel as I got older and people talk about Israel, I always looked at Israel as like an extension of the United States in the Middle East. It's like, you might as well just put an American flag right there with Israel because they're backing them so much. Forget about the fact that they went over there and took their land. There's some Europeans went over there, took the land from the native people and took the best part too, the West Bank might add. And then it's a whole lot of political shit to it. But yeah, I could see that too, to maintain the military presence. Yeah.
I mean, Israel fought a number of wars with its Arab neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
And their victories were touted as, like God's gift to the Jews or something.
Mm-hmm.
But, there was an incident during the 6-Day War, which was against, I think, Egypt and Syria primarily, where the Israelis attacked a United States intelligence gathering ship in the Mediterranean.
Okay, was that recent and they made it seem like somebody else did it? That was that USS Cole, that USS Cole thing?
No, it was called the USS Liberty. The USS Cole was the one that was bombed off the coast of Yemen.
Yemen, yeah. Well, go ahead, finish what you were saying.
Yeah. The USS Liberty
Mm-hmm.
was flying an American flag. It was well into international waters when it got attacked and strafed by Israeli fighter jets. Then they tried to torpedo it, and they managed to kill, I think, 37 and wound 100. And the USS Liberty managed to get out a distress signal, and the Navy started to respond, but they got orders from Washington to let it play out by itself. So, these American governments are willing to sacrifice their military personnel and equipment, so Israel's not embarrassed. And Israel's not held to account.
They say you want to know if you got to trace the money, right? You trace the money, you find the culprit.
Yeah, that's money, but I think more than that, what was the Israeli motive for wanting to sink this ship?
Oh yeah, what is that about?
It seemed to be that they were were committing war crimes in the Sinai, and they didn't want any signals intercepted from that process.
So when you say they were committing war crimes, you mean the Americans or the Israelis?
The Israelis were committing in the
The
Sinai
Israelis,
Peninsula.
the Israelis are pretty much the Americans. That's the same thing. Like how you can say this and that name, they got some type of unification. Like pretty much Israel and America is one and the same, pretty much.
Well, I mean,
just how
except
it is.
that what Israel's trying to achieve.
Well, I mean, when I say America, I ain't talking about me, America, I'm average American. I'm talking about the
government.
The industrial, the military, and maybe the Israeli got some money involved in the arms. Maybe you can trace that money out. So that would make sense to me. Maybe that could be it. It's got to be. People don't do stuff for no reason. People do stuff for a reason. Although some of the military guys don't know what they're doing this stuff for.
Well, I mean, some of these religious zealots are. They say they were working from the Bible, although the Jews don't really read the Bible. They're more into the
Torah.
The Torah, books, right? And, obviously the concept of Israel is theoretically derived from the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically, if I'm not mistaken, Israel, so I think it was Abraham wrestled with God, or Jacob, one of them wrestled with God, angel or whatever, and he said, from now on, your name will be Israel, and I will give you a land until you own it, whatever. But it actually never existed. It's actually a mythological place until the 6-Day War, or 7-Day War, whatever they called it, in the late 40s or early 50s.
I think it was in the 60s or late 50s.
Yeah, when they took all that land.
Yeah,
so Israel is, pretty much is, I get it. It sucks, but it's the truth. Hey, we speaking truth to power. Hey,
I think in the Bible, do they ever call it Israel? I thought it was like Judea and Samaria.
No, in the Bible, there is a verse in the Bible, I remember reading it, where one of the patriarchs, I guess, was strong enough to wrestle God, or whatever it is. And when he blessed him, he said, your name will be Israel. But I've also heard through my teachings in the 5% Nation is that it's a combination of Isis, Ra, and Elohim. So, which is Mother, the Father, in the Holy Presence. So so Israel, that's where that comes from.
Uh-huh.
And so, there's a lot of theories, but I know until around that time in the 50s, there was no Israel there. That's why that people are still there fighting and killing each other. Somebody's mad. He took my place to live.
And I've heard Jews, like an Orthodox rabbi, saying that because of their the enslavement of Jews by the Egyptians, supposedly,
Right.
That part of the covenant that the Jews made with God to gain their freedom is to remain a landless people.
Well,
so they're not all Jews are in agreement with the establishment of this purely theocracy.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. So, the thing with that controversy with Kanye West about Jews and Semitism and Semite means half white, half black. Boom. So Jewish people are supposed to be descendants of blacks, and we're all from the same source. We get it, totally get it. Racism and everything. So, and the whole thing about the people without a land, it's a story anyway. Whoever wrote the story, it doesn't. People can rewrite the story. It's supposed to be a land where people without land, whatever. So now I can get where people were on Kanye about being anti-Semitic or whatever like that. I just think everybody's people, and everybody is. I don't pigeonhole no group of people. I don't think all black people are good. I don't think all white people are bad. I don't think all Jews are bad. I just think there's a select bunch of people that are.
Yeah, you shouldn't generalize about people.
You can't generalize about people. It doesn't make sense. Only ignorant people do that. But with that being said, it totally makes sense that some invaders from the north, which went on historically around the world. It's just how it is. They come from the north, where people are paler and more, and the land is less giving. to the southern areas. They take over. This has happened all over the world and every culture. They got the Chinese that you see now. Those are the Chinese from I think they call them the Hmong, the HMOG. And then even if you look at the Indian culture in India, the Aryans were from the way up north. And they came down, they just fucking destroyed shit. It says something is weird about it, whatever. But I get the possession, wanting, hunger and growing up in a warlike area and coming amongst all this plenty and taking shit. And I think it's just in people's genes, and people need to learn to become one goal, one common cause, and become great together.
Yeah, well, the problem is that the United States government is practicing divide and conquer politics on its own population in a way similar to what the British were doing to hold on to their colonies,
For a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
Right. I mean, you can always find some quislings who will take a job to help you administer your colony, for a few perks.
Yeah, and that goes on everywhere. That's in every culture too.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens. Yes, I'll work with you, boss, just as long as I gets me something. And I get it. I'm not saying I would do it or agree with it, but it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. But with that being said, like I'm all for spiritual development, and I believe that that's where the true power is. Spiritual development, when people develop spiritually and you stop thinking separatist, so you don't have to look at people and start thinking that they're different from me or whatever because the color of their skin or
different religion
or the religion or their hair is different. We're all from one source.
They cut their penis off.
Right, and drink the blood from the baby's mouth or something.
That's just a foreskin.
Oh my
God. Talking about the transgenders.
Oh my God, I heard about that. That's I mean, some ritual shit got to make sense to me. I'm not performing no ritual. If it don't make sense to me, I'm not doing it. I don't care who said it. It got to make sense to me. I don't care when nobody tells me. If I can't analyze it and come up to or ask a person, I respect their knowledge. I'm like, man, does this sound right to you? But I'm like, I'm not just doing it. Hell no. You can't
think about it, Jay.
But that can't be true.
You cut your penis off, and then you can compete in women's sports.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't agree with that at all. I'm telling you right now, there's no boy. Boys are stronger. Men are stronger than women, period. That's just how it is. No, I don't care what you did or you think you're a girl, and I don't care, whatever. You're not, and you shouldn't compete in the sports with them. You're cheating.
That's cheating.
That's cheating. A little girl, my daughter want to play basketball, got to play with some man that got an operation. Nah, that's not good. I got daughters, too. I got a lot of daughters. Hi, sweetheart, I love you. Ha, ha, ha. All my babies, ha, ha, love you. But anyway, yeah. That's some deep information we got here. But we're going to pause here for a second. We're going to come back and do some kill drill.